If you've been thinking about a career change, a transition, whether it be big or small, especially if you're mid-career in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you're feeling like you're really stuck and you're not sure how you're going to be able to pull this off, you are definitely going to want to tune in for today's video because I am going to share with you 4 key lessons from my career coaching, transition clients and from my own experience from 2024 that I think really make a key difference in how you approach that transition. Another way to describe this list are, these are my favorite 4 things from the career space in 2024. Hi, I'm Jeanette, the North Done Coach, and I'm so glad that you have joined me here today. So what's the first one? Well, the first one is that there are an amazing number of places where you're probably feeling stuck. It probably feels very gray. It probably feels like there's very complex solutions, if they're available at all, to getting you unstuck. And so a lot of your energy is zapped before you even get started because it feels like the solution is going to be so hard. What I want to share with you is really good news because what I have experienced both for myself in a transition, but also with my coaching clients, is that often it isn't as complex as you think it's going to be based on the symptoms that you're feeling. In fact, similar to if you envision that there is picture a river where that is, dammed up in some sort of a way. So it's stuck. So the water is, not able to get through. Often what we find is that if we can identify kind of a couple of key blockages that we can remove, the water starts flowing again. And that's what I've noticed with my career coaching clients and myself, that in the process of really investigating what's going on, it turns out that there's, maybe 1, 2 key insights that lead to changes that we can make that get us moving again, get that water flowing through, so to speak. And so that's really good news because what you feel is happening, like the true grayness of, I have no idea how I'm going to untangle this, doesn't turn out to be as mysterious once we get in there and start digging around and identifying, what those boulders really are. So that's good news. And that makes it a favorite career item for me for 2024. So the second thing that I have noticed is a key insight with my clients, and of course is a favorite thing for me, is that I will label it out-of-the-box thinking. So for many of us who are baby boomers, Gen Xers, we have learned what career means, tried and true from other people, what we have been told coming into that space. And generally what that has meant for us is that the options are really around, we seek employment, we hope to be promoted within that organization. We want to stay there for a while until it looks like maybe we need to move on for something better to come. But in other words, we hop from one organization to another organization, and our future is really about doing that a number of different times until we reach retirement age, and then we retire. But what I have noticed is that there's a whole set of options that are really out-of-the-box options that we generally haven't been taught to think about because they really haven't been options before, when we had really more of that equation where, a pension plan and retirement was going to be provided by one organization for us, and so that incented us to stay there. Well, that promise has been broken a long time ago, and so we don't have to stay loyal to an organization, and we don't have to go one organization to another. We can actually think of some out-of-the-box solutions that were not possible before, like things such as what I touched on in some videos previously, what are things around like we can consolidate, and we can bring our expenses down, and we can, maybe move into a tiny house. And, that means we can think about different kinds of career options. We don't have to be really tied to having the higher salary. We can do things like put all our items in storage and go travel to a lower cost of living area and do, travel visas for a period of time. We can work remotely from those locations. We can come up with portfolio careers where we're doing a variety of things, including things like, we can pursue getting monetized on YouTube. So there are a number of different options there that, of course, they're not for everyone. It's perfectly fine to want to stay with the more traditional view of things. But what I'm saying is they also open up different options that we didn't consider before. And those freedoms, we can adopt in, a variety of different ways to fulfill our needs and think and, aspire to things even at this mid-career and later stage of life. Now, the third item that is on my, lessons from this year and favorite things is the idea that for many of us, we are a bit perfectionistic. In other words, we often are aspiring to that 100% or not 100%, 99.9% of the way. So when we're thinking about different solutions to getting unstuck, we often are thinking about solutions that are needing to be, if not 99.9%, maybe we'll, move down to 97 or 98% of the way. However, what I've noticed is in myself and in my clients that when we open that up and we say, actually, we want to have a spirit of experimentation. We want to use growth mindset. We want to think of a bunch of different options and try them out and have them be okay at that kind of 70% cutoff. Instead of having them to need to be so perfect, we can be like, they're good enough. And that allows us to experiment. We can let go of the ones that are not going to work for us. We can try different things. And that brings about a lot of different options for getting unstuck than if we were just sticking to that, no, they have to be 99.9% of the way there. So that's a big mindset shift that, to the extent that you're able to adopt that, will give you new energy and motivation to move through, more fuel in the getting unstuck, the transition process. And then finally, the fourth item of lessons from my experience with my clients and myself kind of ties it all up with a bow. And this is really that season of bows with presents and such, so it makes sense. But the whole thing makes sense when you are maximizing it through a thorough, structured, disciplined process of discovery. So what I like to use with my coaching clients is a framework called the logical levels of change. And we're actually moving through in a very thorough way to, we're getting into all the nooks and crannies of the kind of issues that may be there that are keeping you stuck. And that's how we're able to discover, several of those key insights that move us forward in the process. Plus, I'd like to add on to that as a way to let's now develop it into a plan. We will go through a SWOT analysis, which, most people know that for when an organization or a team or a department is working on a strategic vision, a strategic plan for the future. That's often done with an organization. However, it is also possible to do it from an individual perspective and thinking about it from, what am I going to do for my strategic career plan? So we will apply that together in the process to actually come up with that thorough, this is the direction forward, whether that change be big or small. And often out of that process, what we discover is what felt like I shouldn't say often, sometimes, not always. Sometimes what happens is we will discover that what was wrong in the current position actually has some things that if we just do a little tinkering, we can change that, and actually it doesn't require a big change at all. Of course, it's entirely possible that you want to try something new, really out of the box, and that's the other end of the spectrum. All of those things are possible in coming up with that strategic plan. Now, I'd be happy to spend a little time with you if that's something that would be of interest, to really look at your situation and what it might take to pull a strategic plan together. I'm happy to offer that in a complimentary 45-minute strategic coaching session, and I will drop the link to scheduling that in the description box if that's of interest to you. So I hope that these 4 favorite things, these lessons from myself and my clients over this last year, have been hopeful to you, because that's what it really means, that there is the hope where you feel like there hasn't been hope for a better future for your career. It is entirely possible, and I do hope that you have found that hope today. So until next time, enjoy the next several days, and I will be back with another video. And until then, do take care.